Hello, Blitz fans of all ages, it's me, PlumCastle, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how you can get a Tier 7 premium tank completely for free, and literally, all you have to do is log into your game for several consecutive days. That is it. You don't have to play a battle, you don't have to pay anything, it's completely free and completely easy. All you have to do is log in, which is super cool. Now I'm going to show you how to do this because, yes, while logging in, it may not always be super obvious how this is going to work, and I also want to just let everyone know that way that it's not super easy to miss. So, basically, because it's Christmas, Wargaming is giving away tanks for logging in, and this is the first time I've ever seen a Tier 7, but let me go ahead and show you what it is. It is the IS-2 Shielded. Now, this is the IS-2. The non-shielded version, so you can kind of get an idea what it looks like. Basically, it's just got probably some spaced armor, if that. Really, it's just kind of like a special variant. But what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to log in every day, and it'll give you random rewards. For example, if I go to my notifications over here, you can see literally right before I recorded this video, there are 20 parts and 5 gold boosters. Super duper cool. So if you're wondering how you do this, if, for example, that does not load, you can actually go to your storage, go into the other section all the way at the end, and it's going to be this 15 one here. So Wargaming gave people a few days of a buffer that you can log in, and then, as you can see here, 15 consecutive days, and you'll be able to get the tank guaranteed. Also, it should be noted, you can actually miss 2 days, at least according to what Wargaming was saying, and I did look through here and the math does check out because 20, 10, it's going to give us 30, 40, these two's 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100, and then there's 10 extra. That way, if you miss a day, it's totally okay, and you can get these rewards still, which is super duper cool because generally speaking, this is like 10 levels and you have to log in every day. This is, of course, longer because it's a higher tier tank, but you do have a little bit of grace there, and I believe, but I am not entirely sure, but generally speaking, if you miss more than that, Wargaming has some sort of like generally, there we go, see, parts for the tank. If you miss 3 days, you can get an extra 10 parts, 500 gold. Most people are probably going to be able to log in every day depending, but if you can't, there's still a backup, which is super cool. Now, I'm not going to go super in-depth over the IS-2 Shielded because, well, I don't have it yet, but I will take a little look at the statistics that Wargaming gave to us, as well as show you what the tank looks like, because that'd be kind of cool. That's the promotional video Wargaming gave out. Here's what it looks like. Yeah, you can see it's just a PBR IS-2 with some shielding. It looks kind of ugly, to be honest. I do think it acts as spaced armor, but I don't know this for a fact. Still pretty cool, and actually, they do not show us the stats. However, I'm pretty sure I can find them. Oh, here is something. Also, if you have the vehicle, 500 gold is compensation. I should also note, there's more than just the tank in here. Also, the extra certificates that are for the days missed, you can buy them in the store, and also every certificate can be exchanged for 5 gold. So, you know, a little bit of gold there too. The statistics of the tank, which I will try to find in a minute, will probably be somewhere in here. If we go to certificates, it would be in the part, kind of a nerdy way to look at stats, if there is a way to do it. View tank, and voila, we have the stats. So if you ever wonder how you can find the stats, sometimes if you have the parts to a tank, you can find them. So hit points, 1,450. Being a tier 7, that's totally fine for a heavy tank, I think. Armor, honestly, numbers are a little bit hard to gauge because it's kind of hard to see without looking at the armor, but honestly, it's probably, it's going to be IS-2 kind of style, so it's going to have some armor, but it's not going to be like crazy, and you're going to be able to get hit in the hatch and that kind of thing. View range 230 meters, nothing too special in my opinion. Concealment's okay while stationary, but of course you're probably going to play this front line, so yeah, that's not all that important. Damage per minute, 1,854. Yeah, that's about where I'd probably want damage per minute to be on a tank like this. Reload time is nearly 13 seconds, so there is a bit of a wait. Average penetration, 170 for standard rounds. That's pretty fine for most Tier 6 and Tier 7 matches. Tier 8, you're probably going to struggle a little bit. APCR is going to give you 212. That'll probably help you a little bit, especially with like tier 8s. It's still not a ton, but it is something high explosive, 60 millimeters, because this is not the thinnest gun in the world, or in the game particularly. And then average damage, 400 for AP rounds, 340 for APCR, and 500 for HE. So it is a little bit of a heavier hitter. It's a longer reload with a higher alpha. I will say though, the dispersion is 0.4, which means it's not super duper accurate, which is something you gotta watch out for. I mean, it is Russian tank. Russian heavy tanks are kind of known for their bad accuracy, but this is no exception. Aiming time 6.4 seconds. Honestly, that is a little bit of a lot, but again, inaccurate, slow aiming. Russian tanks is kind of their thing. Gun turn limit up is 25 degrees, which is honestly a lot more than I generally see. I mean, it's not a ton more, but 25, nice. 6 degrees down, that's okay. Probably could be more, but ironically enough, that's another thing with Russian tanks is their lack of gun depression. Sometimes their chronic lack of it, but this one does have 6 degrees, so that's something. Forward speed 32, backward is 12, average speed 28. Most of this stuff doesn't really have a huge impact on your game unless you're like driving through a lot of water. But one thing that does have an impact is turret turn rate at, we'll just round this to 30-ish. I'm sure if you had like, crew improvements and stuff like that, I'm sure all of these stats would be better, but averaging to about 30 for the turret and 30 for the hull, because it's actually just above 30. That gives you 60 degrees a second, which for a heavy tank, it's not super fast, but that's not too bad. I have definitely seen worse. And then terrain crossing capacity, 104% for road, 87 for ground, 70 for water. In terms of ground to water, it doesn't look like you're losing too much, so I guess that is pretty cool. Overall, I mean, we're gonna probably get an IS-2 experience. It's just kind of what you expect from it. It is an IS tank. It's a tier 7. It's probably a lot like the IS-2, and honestly, the IS-2 is, oh my goodness, it didn't even look any different when I moved over. I mean, I guess it looks a little bit different. Maybe some slightly better armor on the IS-2, but yeah. It's going to be an IS experience, whether you've played with the IS or the IS-2, or potentially even if you've played in the KV-1S, that's already giving you kind of an IS experience. But anyway, that does conclude the video. Again, I just want to mention there are other rewards in here, so I won't go over all of them, but you're going to be able to expect things like camos and what I can see, some splinters, avatars, XP multipliers, and just general stuff like that. But anyway, that concludes the video, and so with that, I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, have fun, good luck, and happy tanking.